Hello, it's Capri, and this is my culminating experience and reflection video. For section 1, we talk about the Pledge for Assets-Based Language from the Colorado Association of Bilingual Education. And honestly, this pledge has been something that has kind of always been my go-to this semester. It's a really important, meaningful piece for me because it really kind of defines the importance of strength in bilingual education. When we use terms like English language learner or EL learner versus something like emergent bilingual or a dual language learner, it can kind of, the English language learner can kind of feel like it's a bad thing, like you're not very good at English, but we'll teach you how to be better. Whereas dual language learner is now putting the emphasis on the strength that a child can now speak 2 different languages at a young age. I think that would be my best explanation, and that's how I kind of feel it is for myself. It values multilingual and bilingual students, and it values their voices, and I think that is so important. So I think that this pledge is going to be crucial in my classrooms because I am a special education major. I will be dealing with students with all different types of family situations, people who have different backgrounds, different cultures, and so being a bilingual learner myself and being able to speak another language, Spanish, is going to be extremely important. And so having this pledge as like a foundation for myself and my students is going to kind of create this positive, strength approached like feeling for these students, so that they feel comfortable that that they are lucky and they are doing an amazing thing to be learning a second language at such a young age, and they are doing amazing rather than putting a negative emphasis on it. I'm gonna probably print it out and put it somewhere in my classroom because I believe it's so important. I love the pledge and I do stand by it. For section 2, we had to read the 10 issues that fuel bilingual education, and honestly, they are all amazing, so it was hard to just pick one to focus on. But I think one that kind of hit home for me the most was who benefits from bilingual education, because I myself have benefited from bilingual education and I'm on that other side of getting it, and now I'm going to be on the new side of teaching it. And so I think that the importance of how bilingual education benefits children and people across the world is really important. So when I think about it, those people who are against bilingual education believe that it kind of like can handicap children. They believe that it can ruin how they are learning certain subjects in English, for example, or if their native language is Spanish and they feel like learning English may ruin that. But those for it argue that it's like providing children with language learning resources to non-native speaking students are at a greater disadvantage. So if we don't give this opportunity to everyone, and we don't give this opportunity, it might lead them to not having different chances in the world and different opportunities. I think that because I have benefited and I have had a positive reaction from bilingual education, I believe that it's really, really important for me to kind of be an advocate for that. So I'm Capri, and I grew up in Encinitas, California, and I went through a dual language immersion program, a 90-10 program, so I was taught 90% Spanish and 10% English in my first couple years of school, and then it would grow from there. By the end, I was in 6th grade, and I was taught in 50% Spanish. And my reason for advocacy is that you have so many more opportunities in so many different aspects: jobs, school, work, fun, travel, like, I mean, the list goes on, and like, being someone who's gone through it and seeing what it's offered for me has just made me more excited to be an advocate. I think that the like specific bill or piece that I wanted to mention was the Immigration Act, because I realized that through time, watching how much it has changed really made me excited that, because in my classroom when I was in first grade, most of the students were actually native Spanish speakers learning to speak English, and I was kind of the opposite. So just knowing that students can come from different places and are allowed the opportunity to learn English was really important for me. I am really excited to become a special education teacher because I am bilingual. I think it's going to break barriers for me, and I think it's super important. Lastly, my reflection. So 3 big picture insights that I gained about bilingual education during the semester was, number one would be advocacy. You have to be okay with listening to the opposite side. You have to be okay with listening to why people are conflicted with this, and you have to take that conflict and you have to create greatness from that. And I think advocacy was something that I learned a lot more about, and the importance of it, and so I'm excited to be an advocate for bilingual education. Secondly, would have to be that Immigration Act, and seeing the changes and seeing how as a world we're getting there. We, especially in Colorado, it's getting so much better. I think it's really important. And lastly, WIDA is honestly one of my new favorite places on the internet. I never knew about it beforehand, but now knowing about it, I can't go back. It's such a great tool, and just from grading and seeing the different levels of students who are becoming bilingual, and seeing how WIDA has provided a positive place for this whole education to happen is really incredible, and I'm definitely going to be using it. Based on our class discussions and readings and my personal timeline that we just made, the trends that I notice in regards to bilingual education are that it is looking like it's taking positive steps forward, in that people are learning that bilingual education is only helpful, and that it is very important in this world. So I think that this semester has taught me so much, and I actually got so excited to be in this class because, being a bilingual person myself, it is really cool to be on the other side of it now that I'm going to be teaching it. So I appreciate Junior, and I appreciate all my classmates and all of the readings and websites that I have been exposed to. Thank you.